Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for visiting Rabbani Research. We will talk on innovative ideas today, and this is part 2 of a Stanford book that I discussed earlier. This presentation is based on Stanford University book on driving innovation and ideas. This is part 2. Design Thinking is About Doing by Steve Fife and edited by Karen Lee. Design thinking can help you quickly transform your big idea from a rough sketch into a real world product. This is an interview with Professor StefanosZenios, a professor of operations, information and technology at Stanford Business School, on how to get customer feedback, create effective prototype, and facilitate more productive brainstorming session. StefanosZenios is the investment group of a Santa Barbara professor of entrepreneurship and a professor of operations, information and technology at Stanford Business School. He is director of the Center for Entrepreneurial Studies. Question 1. Why is brainstorming a good way to generate new ideas? And the answer of the professor is that great ideas are ideas that solve a problem in a unique way, usually happen when two old ideas meet together for the first time. Great ideas are not new ideas. They are usually a combination of existing ideas, and that's where brainstorming is powerful, because it brings together people with different experiences so they can all merge their ideas together. Design thinking becomes effective because it promotes that collaborative approach, bring people from different parts of the organization together for their different knowledge, expertise, and input on how you are going to solve a problem. By combining those ingredients, you can come up with new and creative ways to solve a problem. Now, question 2 is, how do you facilitate brainstorming among different personality types? The answer is, one thing that we have learned over the years is that process doesn't work with everyone. We have developed our own variation that works well with introverts. We ask people to individually think about 10 or 15 ways on which they can address the problem ahead of time, and then we meet as a group to share the ideas and engage in a more structured brainstorm. Start with individual idea generation and then combine it with group idea generation. Question 3 is, what is the best way to find out what your customer needs? Answer is, it's all about putting yourself in your user's shoes. Spend time with your users, ask them questions, think ahead. What do you want to learn? Draft some interview questions and then engage in a conversation. Don't make it an interview. Engage in a conversation, but be prepared. What do you want to learn? Be a good listener and try to listen to the stories that your users are sharing with you. Design thinking can help you quickly transform your big idea from a rough sketch into a real world product. Ask them about the last time they have faced a challenging situation and how they addressed that challenging situation. That's the way for you to learn. If they are willing to let you observe them while they go through their everyday life, that's a great way to get deeper insight. Question 4 is, why are immersion and empathy critical to the design thinking process. When we observe users, you see that they actually go through, but when you actually do it, that's when you really understand how difficult some things may be, or understand the emotions that some challenges are creating. I may tell you that changing the tire of my car is difficult, but in order you to understand why it is difficult, you would probably want to do it yourself. Or I may tell you that I find particular task challenging, but you may be able to better appreciate how challenging it is when you try to do it yourself. Question 5 is, what are the benefits of building a prototype? Answer is, you want something that you can take back to your users so they can interact with it, feel it, play with it, and use it one way or another. Prototyping is a quick and inexpensive way you can make your early idea usable. So you can go back to your users and get their feedback. That feedback now gives you information. Is this a good idea or is this a bad idea? Oftentimes, from your users' reactions, you may discover that the problem that you thought they had is not there, and they have a different problem. But you also learn more about what they want and what their preferences are. You are using this process of generating ideas, taking them back on your users, and getting feedback from them as a way to define your understanding of the problem and refine your idea. Next question is, how do you prototype a business model? Answer is, in order for ideas to be valuable, the economics need to work. If it is a new product idea, you need to build a viable business model, or your idea may involve changing an internal process within an organization. You need to understand what are the resources that you need to bring together, or understand what you need to convince people to change that process. If you are working on a new product idea, first ask, what is the value proposition? Write down the value proposition. Second, ask, who is going to be your customer segment? Define your customer segment. Third, how are you going to reach it? And fourth, how are you going to make money? The value proposition is something that you test in the direct interaction between the users and your prototype. Through their reaction, what is the value proposition that they see? Does it match your value proposition? The users that you talk to must belong to the customer segment you have defined. If I believe that my customer segment is teenagers, and I am talking to my colleagues at Stanford and sharing my idea with my colleagues at Stanford, there is misalignment. If I am targeting teenagers, the customers that I am going to be testing my prototype with need to be teenagers. Next question is question number 7, and this is, does design thinking generate better ideas? The answer is, there are some problems that are not solvable. You might not find a technology that's going to solve a particular problem, but what you want to do is discover that quickly. So the design thinking methodology doesn't necessarily generate better ideas than competing methodologies. It's just that this methodology allows you to test your ideas quickly to see which ones hold promise. And the next question is, can anybody be creative? The answer is, creativity is not rocket science. Creativity is a structured, systematic way to solve problems. If you are a successful executive in an organization, You are successful because you are a good problem solver. If you are a good problem solver, you are creative. Creative doesn't mean you are Van Gogh or Picasso. They are creative in their own discipline. You can be creative in your own discipline as well. If you can solve problems, you can be creative. Stanford 3, a Stanford University book on driving innovation and ideas, part 3 will follow next. We are business consultants based in Pakistan. If you need to accelerate your organizational performance and transform your company to meet the upcoming business challenges for a better tomorrow, please contact us for a turnaround. You can find us at rabbaniresearch.net. Trust Rabbani for quality competence. Thank you so much.